All right, there we go. All right. So you are getting ready to release your geez, it's I don't even know what number it is in the discography anymore, but Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven on October 7th.
Yes.
Like first of all, let's talk about the video for Born of Satan's Flesh. Like where was that filmed? Because that is a really cool building.
Yeah, it was. We filmed that. It was an abandoned Masonic temple in Wilkes Barre, Pennsylvania, and the Brodskys, who directed the video, suggested it as it was kind of on the way because we ended a tour with Goatwhore, and so before driving home, we wanted to knock out. We shot two videos there actually. So the one for Born to Satan's Flesh, there was an upstairs portion of the building, so there was natural light coming through these windows. So we kind of utilize the daylight. So we're shooting two videos in a day. So it was also a place where there are two different, settings for, for the second video that'll come out on release day. We shot it in a different portion of the building with more like kind of stained glass windows and a little
Oh,
darker
nice.
atmosphere. But it really worked out for, not only logistics of, where we were in the country and getting off the tour, but also being able to shoot two, different kind of videos within the same day. So it worked out well. And I think I really like how the one for Born and Satan's Flesh turned out for sure.
Yeah, it's a really cool video. Are you able to say what the other video is yet? Or
Yes, the third single and the video, the next video will be for the title track, "Angels Home from the Arches of Heaven." So that'll come out release day, which is coming up pretty soon. I guess it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, that is an awesome track too. I love the piano at the end. Like, I know you don't write the lyrics or anything, but like, how do you connect to this song, like, without writing the lyrics? And like, when you're playing or performing it, do you like feel like a or see like a vision of the song in your head, or how is that for you?
Sometimes, and some it's funny because as a drummer and more on the rhythmic side of things, I guess maybe I've never been so like a maybe like a lyric person who like really decodes the lyrics and stuff. I've been more of paying attention to like the cadence and the rhythm of the words and the lyrics and how they play with the music. But when I read Ben's lyrics, I'm always amazed at what he's able to come up with and how he can write such a depth of material and how it never repeats or he never has a shortage of ideas, and I'm always amazed of what he's able to come up with. And especially on this record, I think it's some of his best work ever. I'm really impressed and always amazed by that guy for sure.
Yeah, yeah, been a fan for a long, long time. So it's yeah, this album is so like I'm kind of to be honest, I'm fangirling out.
That's all. It's good to hear though.
So, and yeah, and Jarrett produced it. Jarrett Pritchard, your live audio engineer, like he's been with you forever. Like every time you're at a show, I see him there, and he's also produced 1349 albums too. Like it's cool because you have that where like he knows your sound. So what are some of the things that you feel he really, really captured with Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven?
I think we're such on the same page when it comes to just from working live together for so long, and he knows not us only as people, but also as our strengths and maybe even weaknesses. So he really knows, and he's also a fan of the band to where he wants the best for us too, and on a technical side, he knows how to achieve that. You know what I mean? To where maybe one of us may not have the best technical vocabulary as to explaining how we want something to sound, but in our kind of caveman way of explaining it, he can, clicks to him and he knows what to do. So it really makes it. He was really an asset in the studio as to helping us achieve kind of the energy we try to bring live. You know what I mean? And I think this record's the closest to where it has that energy to what we try to achieve live. And it's a hard thing to do, but and I don't think it'll ever be 100%. But I think this record's the closest, and it has that kind of grit and aggression without losing clarity. And it's kind of a fine balance. But Jarrett really. And also it's just the atmosphere of the studio, since we know him so well, it's just a comfortable working environment. And yeah, I think it really worked out well. Kind of set the tone for the how the record turned out, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. So yeah. Yeah, with it, like your live sound and everything, like what do you think are some of the most chaotic moments within the album for you personally?
I guess, and it wasn't. It was definitely a, I guess, conscious move. But that the album opener, aside from the intro, of course, but the first piece of music you hear on the record is "Born in Satan's Flesh," and that is definitely one of the most chaotic songs on the record in terms of like just speed and aggression, and also just the kind of chaotic arrangement. And that was definitely a conscious move because first track on the record, especially when it's our first record in I guess 5 years. So just come out of the gate just swinging. It's just like a a punch to the face. You know what I mean? And then from then on, and it's kind of funny because the album closer is like polar opposites to the vibe that the first track brings. It's kind of a slower, more 6/8 kind of plodding, epic sounding song. But that's kind of just shows you, what we're capable of within a record, to where every song kind of has its own identity, but it's also a cohesive unit as a record, a collection of songs, which keeps it interesting for not only us, but I guess the listener as well. Instead of having an album that's just straight blast beats for 40 something minutes, it's kind of there's dynamics, and each song has its own presence, and it's still Goatwhore all the way through and through.
That it is. um like what were some of the things that truly inspired some of the songs for you, like when you were all putting it together, like the drum beats? You come up with them after you like had heard some of the vocals or other or guitars or anything, or like what was it that really sparked inspiration, and what songs were like really came together?
Certain songs just kind of fell together, like super quick. You know what I mean? And those are the songs that, like, once they come, it's not often, or it's not every day. A song just kind of falls in your lap, and it's just like bam, 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 and it's just like that's it. You just know that feeling when it's like it's there. But and then some other songs take some work and some time and some revision. But when it comes to, I guess, inspiration for me, there's always like little things like, it's like I've all or things as a drummer that I've always kind of wanted to include or add in, even if it's just like this little fill, as maybe like an ode to like Mickey D or like Nick of the Brain or something, like some fills that I've always wanted to kind of include. And then you just kind of search for the right space to do it, and then you're like, maybe it'll fit here, and it's perfect because you got your own little little like nod into one of your influences. But as far as the songs coming together, thing with this record is, we had so much extra time and we kind of used the whole pandemic COVID uncertainty to our advantage. Just used the extra time and tried to write as many songs as we could, and also just tried to make the songs the best they could be. You know what I mean? Just, when you have that much time to think about it, you go back and like, all right, maybe this part could be better, and so on. But it was good to have the extra time, and it did. I don't think it got to the point where we were like overthinking it to where it was a detriment to the material. But I just think it all worked out pretty well.
Okay. Yeah. Like, what are some songs that really uh like mean the most to you from Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven that really
I
stand
definitely,
out?
I'll definitely say the closing track. That's an important one for me, and I think all of us, because I think we kind of surprised ourselves in a way, and and it's one of those things when we were writing it, we all knew it was a good song, and that's why we uh, planned to record it on the record. But it was one of those songs that once it was everybody had laid down their parts, and it was all the vocals were laid down and everything, and we heard just rough mixes back of it. It was like, wow, it exceeded my expectations as a song, and it's still one of those songs that when I played tracks from the new record for friends and for family and stuff, that's definitely one of the ones. It was definitely because my mom's not a huge metal fan, but she was like, "Oh, I want to hear some of your new record." It's like, "All right, mom, you're gonna like this." it
Oh,
was just, it's one of those things, one of those ones that I'm pretty proud of, and was really pleasantly surprised by everybody's collective um, take, and just uh, addition to it, and we think definitely the title track as well. It's kind of maybe a little um, out of the norm for us, maybe, but not really. Maybe in the terms that it's got a little more melody than even we are used to, um, including in our songs and everything. But I think it works for us because it's still like a really driving song, and it's got some dynamics to it, and even the main melodic riff in the song kind of reminds me kind of second wave of black metal, and just kind of driving upbeat double bass with a melancholic melodic riff to it, but it's still it just works, and when something you can tell something works, you don't really overthink it too much.
right. Yeah. And you've been in the band since you were 17, and it's been a while now. So, like, what are some of the things that you have really incorporated into Angel Tongue from the Arches of Heaven that you have learned throughout the years since you began playing with Goatwhore?
Well, I think just over the years, through trial and error, you kind of, as a musician, learn what to do and what not to do, and what you like and what you don't like, just personally. But I think when it comes to this record, I think I've definitely discovered kind of the way I like um, to tune my drums. I'm kind of anal about that, and especially, that's a huge part of sound, and especially achieving a good sound in the studio is knowing, how to tune each drum and to make it sound its best with the way you play them, and and also, it's part of your personality as a musician is to kind of be able to tailor your own sound. And aside from that, I guess when it comes to just the playing aspect, um, you know, kind of less hesitant as to letting some of my biggest influences shine through, like Mickey D or like Tommy Aldridge, like more kind of rock oriented drummers, but kind of applying that to you know more the more extreme side of metal that we do. Because there is a space for it, because there's a lot of kind of rock and punk elements to this band, but also it's fun to include that in the more extreme side of drumming. And then also just in the studio, I think things have just gotten more natural for us as far as the drums go in the studio, because nowadays it's more extreme, especially kind of younger bands. It's easy to get carried away with sound replacement and just little studio tricks and stuff, and it kind of takes away from the overall vibe, and it makes everything sound a little too mechanical for my taste. So I think we definitely kind of went backwards in a way and tried to make things a little more natural and warm sounding, and trying to keep the human vibe to especially the drums, but for to everything about the band.
Okay. Like, is there any new equipment that you brought in for this album that you hadn't worked with before, or like, even, throughout the years, is there, I guess this could be a second part to the question, like, is there any other equipments that you've added, like, even with the past few albums and when you first started to really give it the sound that you love?
I'm always like I know I kind of stick to what I like, but I'm always kind of switching back and forth. And it's just kind of minor stuff like drum head choices. So on this record, I might have tried a different snare head than the last record. And actually, I guess the only biggest difference that on this record is compared to the at least two previous is just the snare drum that I use. On this one, I used a tank of a brass snare drum, and I think the two previous records I used a really heavy steel one. So it's just kind of minor differences, but I guess drum nerds would definitely kind of notice and be more interested. But the brass snare, I mean, it sounds great on the record. And aside from that, there's some different symbol choices that used on this record than previous to. They're a little thinner, a little brighter, but they definitely cut and do the job. And yeah, it's always something to where I find what works, but also I like to switch things around just to keep it interesting as well. I think every musician's like that who's been doing it a while. You know what you like, but it's always fun to experiment, try some new stuff. But yeah, nothing too drastic as far as changing of equipment, but just kind of minor things to keep it interesting and still make it sound good.
Okay. Yeah. And like with, when you first began drumming, what were some of the songs that you first started learning that you just played over and over and over again that really helped evolve or materialize your own unique sound?
I remember sitting down my first drum kit to and just putting on the Aussie tribute record, and at first, I would just there's no way I'm playing Tommy Aldridge licks at 15 or 14 years old, but it's one of those things you just sit down and you just kind of jam along to it, and you kind of get the general vibe of where the changes are in a song, and and where the 2 and 4 is in the song, and when the where the chorus hits and stuff like that, and then you kind of learn to get comfortable with adding in fills here and there and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's just one of those things that being a kid and playing along to anything, and then and once I got a little more experience, I used to, as kind of like a workout routine, I'd put on Rain and Blood and try to get through the whole thing. And I remember I'd be tired and covered in sweat by the end of the 28 minutes, however long it is, 30 minutes. But yeah, even if you're not playing the stuff, dead on accurate, it's still, as long as you're making an effort to at least stay in there and commit to, you know, playing through the songs. I think it's a big thing to help you evolve and improve as a young drummer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna ask a fangirl question.
Of course.
And like, because I've seen you quite a few times, and a couple of those times were with 1349, and I was, of course, like before we started recording the interview, we, you know, talked a tiny bit about Psycho Las Vegas. Like, what are some of your most favorite tour like memories, and also like with festivals like Psycho?
Yeah, man, one of my favorite just all around tours that I guess looking back, I still feel really lucky to have been a part of, that Goatwhore got to be a part of it, was that Monotheist tour, Celtic Frost. It was the first tour back in the States right after they put out Monotheist. I think it was 2007. And it was a pretty long tour. Yeah, the first show actually, 1349 did like the first couple weeks on it, and then we all played a show in San Francisco. 1349 was on the bill, and then the rest of the tour was just us and Celtic Frost, and I think Sono on a few days. But man, it was a trip to be able to watch Celtic Frost every night for 7 weeks, and
I bet.
it was heavy, man. They're playing everything super slow. It's just the vibe of it, man. It was killer. So I mean, that's definitely a top one for me. And then yeah, you mentioned Psycho. Psycho is always a pleasure to play. It's such a well-run festival. The people that organize it are super great, and what a nice change to have a festival like that. Not in the middle of a field with having to go to porta potties. You can,
Right.
time out when you want to see this band or that band, go chill out in your hotel room. It's a cool thing. And in Vegas, there's something to do for, no matter what you like to do, there's something to do, and so Psycho's great. It's always a pleasure to play. What else? Inferno Fest was a blast, just getting to be in the ground zero of that sort of black metal was great. And
Did you ever go to
sure,
Hellfest? Did you ever get to
no,
tour?
I've never been. I've never. Did you ask if I've been to Hellfest?
No, Hellfest, the record
Oh
store that
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah, yeah. What's it called? Nessie Blood now?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We went a couple times, and yeah, that was a trip too. You take the obligatory basement picture, and yeah, that was fun too. Man, there's so many cool tours we've been able to do over the years, and festivals, and getting to tour with High on Fire a few times over the years. Those are definitely like tour brothers for us, and it's always a blast. And also being such a big fan of High on Fire, I love that just barbaric kind of Conan metal that they do. It's just thunderous and has that Sabbath vibe to it. It's always a good time. But yeah, I don't think we've ever done a bad tour. We're good at like making the best out of any situation. We're just happy to be there playing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna put this out there because I've been putting it out there to practically every band I talk to. You guys, especially you guys, gotta come to Fargo. I mean,
It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been so long since we've been through Fargo.
I didn't even know you played Fargo before, but I've only been in North Dakota for like 5 years, so
Oh wow, yeah. I think the last time we played Fargo was like 2008 or 2009.
oh
There was also
wow.
cattle decapitation at some bar, and before the show, you know, we were like it was like a bar and grill connected to the place, and me and our bass player at the time are just getting something to eat before the show at this bar, and we look over and Pauly Shore's like sitting right next to us. What's this dude doing? And, people were coming up to him, and I guess he was like just totally in character, like he was there about to shoot a movie or something, but
Oh
he
wow.
was he kept denying that he was Pauly Shore because he was staying in character. It was kind of funny.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yep, we definitely need to come back to Fargo for
Yes.
sure. The Dakotas don't get enough love, I feel.
No, like every concert, every tour I'm seeing that getting announced, no Fargo. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Slipknot played here like a few months ago. Like that show was crazy.
I bet. Yeah, it's always like those out of the way towns like that people just kind of neglect it. They have,
Yeah.
I mean, people need metal there too. Even like Rapid City, South Dakota, we had a killer show there last time we played there. But yeah, we need to do it like just a straight tour. We hit all the nooks and crannies.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of metalheads out here. That's for sure. Like you
Yeah,
wouldn't think that because of the way, North Dakota and South Dakota too has been portrayed. Like, but yeah, there are a lot of metal fans out here.
you guys probably go to Minneapolis for shows if you're driving for a show. Is that like
Yeah,
the
because
closest?
Minneapolis, yeah, that's about 3.5, maybe not quite hours away. But yeah, that or that's about the closest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least you got that. I mean, 3.5 hours isn't too bad, but yeah, I'm sure it'd be nicer if more tours came through your town for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of cool venues here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
yeah. Um, the album artwork, that also it looks like the same artist from like the last few records, and also it also looks like 1349's the artist who did 1349's the Infernal Pathway album too. Is it the same
Yeah,
artist?
I believe it's the same artist. It's our good friend Jordan Barlow, and he's been doing
Oh yeah.
he's been doing our album covers. I think the first one he did was Blood for the Master. So and yeah, he does a lot of our merch designs too. He's he used to be a New Orleans, local and great tattoo artist. So we've been close friends with him for years, and Ben will just kind of come to him with a concept or like just an idea, and Jordan will just kind of run with it and kind of just knock it out of the park. And so we're definitely on the same page. And he just does killer work, and yeah, yep. For this current record, it's like there's a lot going on within not a lot going on. So it's very simple, but there's a lot of kind of symbolism and then the use of the sigils as well that kind of tie in a unique aspect and also kind of recurring theme from past records from the use of the sigils as well. So yeah, I'm always amazed of just Jordan's talent and ability and uh, the way he is able to run with an idea and kind of make it his own, but also stay true to kind of what the concept is.
Yeah, the darkness of the album. Like, how do you personally like feel that the album cover like captures the energy of the album as a whole?
is, and even with the band logo isn't even present on the cover of the record, which I'm sure a lot of bands would think that was unheard of that you could do that, but it's just it's all is an artistic kind of thing. I think it's cool that it's just so blunt and just there. You know what I mean? You can kind of read into what you want out of it, or you can listen to one of our opinions as well. But I really like how blunt and just in your face in a way too, because that's kind of what we're going for too, just kind of blunt in your face. This is what it is, and yeah, I'm just happy with the whole um, package of the record as a whole, just the way everything came together. I think, I'm very happy with it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, those are, oh, your tour with Revocation coming up in Europe. Like,
Yeah, I'm stoked about that because we haven't been to Europe in probably 4 years since before the pandemic, for sure. Yeah, so it would be great to get back to Europe, and especially with Revocation. We've been great friends with those guys for a long time. And I was joking with someone else recently that we got Sammy, of course, and then Dave Davidson from Revocation, and then uh, Wes Hawk's band, Luvial, is going to be on it too. So super great guitar players, but I'm joking how it's just going to be. I can't wait to overhear all the guitar nerd talk like in the corner of the bus at the end of the night. But yeah, it's going to be a good time with killer people, and Revocation's got a killer new record out too, and yeah, we just can't wait to get back to Europe and hopefully the life.
yeah, it kind of cut out for a second, like it froze up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I
Oh yeah,
don't,
I was just saying that hopefully January and February over in Europe, hopefully that whatever energy crisis isn't too bad, and they save some power for us so we can plug in some amplifiers and play some heavy metal.
fuck yeah. And then you guys got to come to Fargo.
Definitely, we'll do that.
Is there anything else you would like to share about Angels Hung from the Arches of Heaven?
Man, I'm just really stoked that it's finally coming out in less than 2 weeks. October 7th, it'll be out. Metal Blade Records. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it. It's funny because it's been we had worked on it for so long throughout the pandemic weirdness, and then it's been pretty much done for almost a year. Just kind of waiting through the release schedules that are kind of have been built up just because of so many bands trying to put out records, and
Right.
so it's good to know it's finally coming out, and it's also good to hear some feedback on it too, because when you're kind of sitting alone with it for that period of time, you're like, well, I think it's good, so it's good to hear other people, hopefully agree, but people, all the feedback's been positive so far, so it's refreshing to, it's almost like a weight off your shoulders just to know that it is good. So hopefully hopefully people enjoy it and pick it up. October 7th, it'll be out pretty soon, and then new video dropping on October 7th as well, and you'll be on the road full force next year, and hopefully definitely coming through Fargo. So yeah, happy to be back at it with the new record, being able to tour. So yep, no complaints here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thank you as well. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess next time you'll be in Fargo. So
Definitely, yeah. We'll save you the drive to Minneapolis or Minnesota. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. You have a wonderful rest of the day.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.